So I am Alexandra Domnescu.
I'm Sorana Gurau.
I'm Daria-Alexandra Pirvu.
And I'm Udrişte Alexandra.
And we are students at the University of Architecture and Urbanism in Romania. I don't know if you know, but university projects could be quite underwhelming at times when it comes to the creative process, because you need to find functional or technical solutions for your ideas, and that requires a lot of time, and you don't usually have a lot of time. So they overshadow the more fun part, which is the creative presentation, the visual presentation of the project. So the competition for PEJA was exactly what we were looking for in terms of requirements. It was about revitalization, and it was based on that contrast of contemporary and also historic.
Comes to Museum of Emotions, I think that what drew us to this kind of project was the focus on the fundamentals of architecture. This project meant a respite from that, from our schoolwork in that regard, and we had a lot of fun when it came to discussing this abstraction of architecture in its most essential forms.
So for PEJA, I remember that every discussion had sort of a domino effect. We were reading the brief, and then we wrote down a list of keywords after. It was like fountain, city, history, culture. And from each of them, we started making associations until we reached the common idea, the common denominator, which was trace. It was like a stream of consciousness. We would think about a fountain, and then its continuous stream of water, and then the erosion that happens, and so the trace that's left on the surface. Also, the history of Kosovo, which is a fairly new country, and all the things that happened recently left their traces on the city.
Our first inspiration that really started our whole process was a painting by Dali, which I think is called The West Side of the Island of the Dead, which represents a glass figure in an arid environment. And we started with what that painting represented to us. We started with the cold and hot feelings of the two elements. We were looking at different colors and different feelings of either togetherness or loneliness that could snowball our process into something concrete.
And I think that somehow that was the story for the title of the project, because we have a meeting where was a lot of titles for the project, names, songs, different things, and at a point we just lay back and say, what if we are better with numbers than with words? And that's how we started with the title.
For Museum of Emotions, we mainly used Blender and Photoshop. Before that, there was a lot of hand drafting as well, and a lot of talking, which was our main tool somewhat. Before anything could be materialized, we had like pages and pages of contrasting concepts and ideas that could be implemented in a space. And the most fun part, I think, for us was the thermal diagram that we did for Museum of Emotions, that included a section made in Blender that we made black and white, and then used a lot of gradient maps in Photoshop. and it was a very fun challenge to figure out how we can represent this connection between temperature in the sense of our environment and light temperature. That was where Photoshop came in clutch.
For Peja Culture Pavilion, in the starting stages, we hand-drawn sketches for concept. There were many pages of sketches till we found the perfect concept. And then we used AutoCAD for line work on plans and sections, SketchUp for the 3D model, D5 for renderings, and for the last pages, Photoshop. Asia Culture Pavilion, the competition guidelines acted more like a creative spark than a strict limitation. They helped us focus on essential spatial qualities, emotion, atmosphere, and they help us create a story between each place that we needed to make in this project.
As we said before, the idea of a silent competition really helped us really strengthen our skills when it came to visual communication of our ideas. We weren't able to support the project with any kind of speech. So it was a wonderful challenge for us, I think, to be able to present a story only with a few images.
So for Peja, I think in the first stages we were really struggling to include in our design all the different functional features that were in the brief. We had like 50 or 70 square meters limit for the pavilion, and the requirements were, well, it should be a community gathering place, but also it should be a small venue for concerts, but also it should be about exhibitions. And we had like 2 weeks of debates about this 50 square meter space. And the idea of the moving steps and the moving panels really helped us in the end. And I think it was a great solution, great result.
In the case of the Museum of Emotions, I think our biggest challenge and the thing we spent the most time on was the shape itself of the project. After we thought about the shape, we did a lot of lighting design. We knew that the project itself wasn't buildable in the sense of we didn't draw the details, the construction details, but we wanted the lighting itself to feel like something that is doable somehow. It's something that is real and that looked in the way that we wanted it to give you that emotion of for the inner circle of claustrophobia and then for the outside to create this like almost ethereal glow of the walls that we created with like light behind a shiny cold surface.
For me, I believe the most important lesson was learning how to manage a group project where each person has different visions and perspectives and ideas, and each time we have to find a common ground. In many ways, it felt like a social experiment, working with so many people and bringing the project to life. And at the same time, I think it's very important that we learn how to express and tell a whole story of a project in a few panels, not in a big presentation that takes hours to explain or understand.
What I would add, I think for me at least, one of the biggest lessons I took from this was also the use of references. For Museum of Emotions, we didn't have a concrete reference of a museum of something that we wanted to achieve that we could find in the real world or from Pritzker winning architects, and so we found a lot of inspiration from things outside of architecture, and I think that taught us a lot about the multidisciplinarity of the field that we chose to study and work on.